Texas Rangers, they bounced up from 8th to 6th, not second, to 6th in the ESPN power rankings. But let's talk about that offense. And you mentioned it, and I'm glad that you did, is that Bruce Bochy was very upfront.
And he always is.
Yes, he really is, about the struggles of the offense thus far. Let's go back to referencing what people have said. They have talked about how some people have said Bruce Bochy is stubborn with Marcus Semien as a leadoff. Here's what I'm going to say about that, and tell me if this answer makes sense. I don't think he's being stubborn this year. Okay. I think he's being stubborn going into the season. But once you started Marcus Semien as the leadoff hitter, he was always going to be the leadoff hitter for at least 20, 25 games, whatever the case is. My issue is that he got installed into that spot to begin with. All right? Like, I don't think you change after 7 games. I just wouldn't have put him in that spot to begin with.
Like when he got here?
No. Like this year.
Okay.
Just this year, for sure. Yeah. Just this year.
6 strikeouts is tied for the lead. Jake Berger also has 6. Leo Taveras has 6. Josh Smith has 6.
For the team lead.
Yeah.
Because we know Rafael Devers has as many strikeouts
the most ever,
as most teams.
But yeah, they have 6. Each one of those guys has 6. That's a poor thing. Like that, the swing and miss part of it, that's a bad thing. Seeing 115 next to Marcus Semien's name does not make you feel good. And we know, we asked him at spring training, what is your approach? And his approach is, if I see a fastball inside, I'm taking it yard. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And I wonder if maybe it's time to adjust the approach a little bit and start doing some other things. Now, he's very comfortable trying to pull the ball, but if pitchers know that, they can pitch around what your best asset is. I need you on base. Now, I know Bochy wants this team to slug. The dude's not even hitting, though.
Yeah.
And I love everything about Marcus Semien, man. He is what you want as your second base leader on the team. But the reality is he probably needs to go to Boch and say, look, man, it's not working right now, and I got to figure something out. And I can't be putting our team in peril to start off games. But I was hoping this would be an up year based on his history. That's just a trend kind of thing.
Now, we're going to talk about...
Who else are you going to put at leadoff, though?
See, because who would you have thought
it would have been Evan Carter.
Exactly.
But he can't hit. And he's hitting poorly in the minors.
I don't know if I would rule out the idea of putting Wyatt Langford there.
I don't disagree. The dude has speed. Now, he did hurt us a little bit yesterday when he tried to wheel out a double, but I appreciate the aggressiveness.
On a day when offense was limited.
And that's the reason, too, is he was pressing because he screwed up by kind of stuttering when he rounded first base, but he was pressing because he's like, dude, we're not getting runners on. We need to get somebody in scoring position. Let me go for it. So, but I agree with you. He's the fastest. He can hit for power. He can hit for all these other things. But it is a weird thing right now with Corey Seager bouncing in and out of the lineup and not having the power that you expect out of him.
Now, I'm going to go back to Marcus Semien, and then we can talk about the team as a whole. The things that are particularly discouraging for Marcus Semien, you mentioned the strikeouts, but just complete lack of any area of production from the leadoff spot. When what I mean by that is not only the 3 hits, we talked about the batting average, 1 RBI. It's been 7 games, and he has 1 RBI. And probably worse than that, you know how many runs he scored? None. If your leadoff hitter has scored none runs, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. That is bad. And I know it's just 7 games. And that's like, Alec, if it makes sense, it's oddly encouraging, too, that you are 5-2 despite the immense offensive struggles. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be really nice whenever you do have some of those powerhouse interleague games that you're going to have to play. Some of those National League teams that it feels like they've got 4 different teams not named the Dodgers that probably aren't getting enough respect for how good they are. Whenever you start playing those teams, if It's just a beginning of the season slump. If things actually do start to progress with some of these hitters in the lineup, then you're getting amazing pitching probably, 3-4 turns out of the rotation so far. If it stays consistent. If you're scoring a ton of runs and not allowing a lot, that sounds like good math to me. So, yeah, if the offense is sluggish right now, but you're still winning, imagine what's going to happen when Adolis continues to tear. Whenever Wyatt Langford, it feels like he gets on base twice a game.
Jonah Heim has another 2 home run games.
If he does that even like once every 2 weeks, then you're like, we're probably winning 140 games this year.
Now, I know it's just a weekend, so these numbers can dramatically change.
Can I go back to the RBI real quick on Marcus Semien? I don't know have the exact people, but Tavares hits in front of him, and Jonah Heim hits in front of him. The 8-9 hitters. Jonah Heim has 4 hits, and 2 of them are home runs. So 2 times you may have had opportunities for Semien to get RBI. Leody Tavares hasn't started off hot either. He had 3 hits so far, and Higgy has 2 hits. So I would say there haven't been enough opportunities. I don't know how many left on. I haven't looked that number on base there, but I'm with you, though. When the opportunities are there, he needs to be pushing those guys around.
What do you think is the team's batting average so far?
200.
192. And what really sucks about that is it feels like you said 200 in a disappointing fashion, and it's even lower than that. What do you think their on-base percentage is?
200.
Man, that would be super depressing.
250.
It's a
like
robust 256.
Ugh.
You're not going to like this
I
next
feel
one
like it's going to be like in the low 300s area for their slugging.
What do you think their... Yes, that is true.
Okay.
Their slugging is 327. What do you think their OPS is for the season?
A good OPS is what?
800.
A great OPS is what?
I think if you touch 900, some people might argue 875.
500.
It's 584. Think about last year. I think last year came in at about 670, and we all felt disappointed. And you're a good 85 points back of that. Those are all the bad things, okay? Now, the good thing is, since it is just a weekend, if you have a week of, let's say you're the Cincinnati Reds in the series opener against us, if you have anything resembling that here and there, or you have a really good offensive week, these numbers are all going to flip back into either neutral or positive territory. So I realize like patching out some of the numbers this early is kind of difficult, but these are the numbers that we have so far. And then I go back to their 5-2, even with a completely deficient offense thus far. They haven't scored more than 4 runs in a game, I don't think.
No. I went back and looked. Semien's had 8 at-bats with runners on. 6 with runners in scoring position. Do you know what his batting average is in both of those instances?
I do not.
125 and 167. But with nobody on, he's hitting 111. So it's not good right now, Kevin, and it feels a lot that feeling of, is this the same thing as last year? Is this the same thing as built right before the World Series run? All those things are, how do you fix it? Is the coach that's going to come in here and fix this thing? Is it what's going to fix it? These guys just got to find it. They got to find it again and get that confidence back, and probably get there and start watching some more tape and getting ready for that.
Now, for people that were asking about the torpedo bats, I love what Marcus Semien said about this. Both him and Seager said, at least at this moment, they're not inclined to make a change. Semien said, I want the Marcus Semien bat to start hitting first.
Fact.
He goes, for me, it's kind of a comfort thing. I'm comfortable with certain things. I've pretty much used the same 2 models for the last 5 years. But I do like that he was like, I need to get my bat working first, and then we'll go from there. As for Corey Seager, this is somebody who we know studies all the mechanics of hitting. And
he loves himself at hitting.
Probably a couple hours a day. He said, quote, I'm more focused on putting myself in the right spot to do what I need to do. There are probably times when it would help, but it's hard to know exactly when those times are. So it definitely sounds like, at least for now, Seager and Semien are not likely to go down the route of the torpedo bat.
Yeah, probably not. How much do you feel like? So somebody just texted this, and how much do you feel like they're missing Josh Young in the lineup specifically? Because
A lot.
Duran didn't give me a lot to write home about. Josh Smith, we just pointed out his batting average right now. It's not super great. So I feel like Josh Young kind of pushes everybody else down a little bit and helps out. But I don't know, man. The way that they're not, it doesn't feel like they're seeing pitches the way they want to. They're swinging right through them sometimes.
I agree with that second part for sure. But I also agree with the first part. And I think the other thing that we add, and I remember that we talked with Hicksy about this on opening day, it's hard to be that guy and that leader when you're not playing. And so there is some absolute intangible about Josh Young that just clicks with his teams and clicks specifically with this franchise and this clubhouse, that having him in the lineup from a purely, hey, you're good at hitting the ball perspective, agreed, for sure. But also, like, the people seem to rally.
The fire.
They really
the excitement.
do.
It's the, I mean, Adolis looks forward to when he rounds the bases after a home run to seeing Josh Young right there at the front of the dugout. He loves it. You can see it in his face. That's the thing. That's the thing for me that's missing. And then
that's fair.
He adds he when he's driving doubles into the gaps, like that's where you're just like, oh my gosh, this is great. I miss it though.
And it is, again, that's the most important. Well, I guess two most important things about this. It's only been a week, and that is very fair. But then the other part is, think about it. Think about all the offensive complaints that we've had in this segment. Complaint after complaint after complaint. They're 5-2.
And top of this division.
Oh, yeah.
Astros stink.
The Astros do stink.
That's because they put a second baseman who doesn't know how to play outfield and left field, and he's screwing them over.
Don't worry.
And they're not good this year.
The A's are still holding it down in last place.
Dude, they have a field in Sacramento that doesn't have a direct line to the clubhouse, so they have to run to the bathroom through center field. It's amazing.
Also,
that franchise still exists.
How the hell are the Braves 0-7?
It doesn't make any sense. I will say, haven't some of their games, they were played against the Padres. It's funny to see people going, the Padres on a historic 7-0 run to start the season, and the Dodgers like also a historic, and they're the top two teams in their division. They're 8-0, the Padres are 7-0. That's 15-0 right there from those two teams. You're like, they're chasing each other. It's awesome.
You don't know what's crazy? I think it's the AL East and the AL West have the second best top two record for their top two teams. They're 9-4. And the West is 8. The NL West is 15-0. And don't forget, the Giants are 5-1, and they're already 2 games
20-1 out of those three teams.
The Giants are 5-1, and they're like, we're down 2 games already. What the crap in hell? It's because the top 3 teams in your division are 20-1. Think about that, 20-1.